Onimusha 2 Samurai's destiny starts a few years later since the fake death of Nobunaga Oda. It continues his war over the unification of Japan. He not only became even stronger after the resurrection, but took command of demons when the place of a demon king was free because of a young samurai, Samanosuke Akechi, who put an end to the demon king, 14 Brass. Samanosuke turned out to be a descendant of the mighty Oni clan, which fought demons, so by his heritage, along with sharp intellect, fabulous sense of humor, and inner panic attacks, he only delayed the inevitable, because Nobunaga became more aggressive, put up makeup to look sexier for ladies, and made Guildenstern create a new army of demon warriors to unify Japan once and for all. But the flags fiesta cannot last forever. Once Oda's army hit a wrong village, Yagyu, a hometown of sword master Jūbei Yagyū. And oh boy, is that where the trouble for Nobunaga began. If Samanosuke was a sensible weirdo, then Jubei is a revengeful, cold-hearted sociopath on edge. He came back to his village, seeing puddles of blood, which cannot be washed out with rain, but with the guts of his enemies. His clan members are all dead, or dying.
Are you alright? What happened?
Oda's demon samurais found their last victim, Jubei. He masters them in a few swift strokes of his sword. Yet probably he has been blown on the head as he starts to hear a voice telling his name. The voice of a lake demon Takajiro. Jubei is trying to attack her, but her magic paralyzes him, so he can listen. Finally. First, Takajiro says that Nobunaga is responsible for burning down the village, and he is the real demon. But she is a mere descendant of the Oni clan, and to a big surprise of Jubei, his mother.
What have I got?
Therefore, he is a bearer of Oni's power, allowing him to absorb demon souls and transform into Onimusha, making him the only one to bite the bullet and depose demon Nobunaga. To do so, Jubei only needs to collect 5 sacred orbs, created to protect humans from the demons. His path must start from a dragon shrine, where he obtains a magical sword of thunder. Then he has to go to Imasha village and sniff around as to why Nobunaga's forces are gathered around that place. The very next second Jubei enters Imasha village, he faces trouble presented by a gorgeous woman warrior, wearing one of the orbs Jubei has to collect. The trouble starts when some drunk muscleheads are standing in her way, seeing this Jubei as a gentleman of a noble kindred now, and not because he needs the orb, flips the script and cuts the most aggressive guy's stomach, so the mob gets the message straight away. By asking around, Jubei learns that the reason for Oda's army being here is gold they gather from mines, but the caves cannot be entered by anybody. Only people with a pass might go inside.
Are you insane?
He goes back to the village to see a fight over a girl between 2 famous warriors, aka Ankokuji and Magaishi Saiga. Jubei sets their minds at rest before anything starts, and they go inside to drink some sake separately. Here, the game tells that the player has an option to give gifts to the main characters. By doing so, you may tighten friendship ties among them, opening new cutscenes and even receiving help on the missions. To buy gifts, you need gold. To get gold, you need to go to the mine. To enter it, you need the pass. To obtain the pass, you need to spend hours wandering around and speaking with everybody, oddly skipping one guy who sells this permit for 100 gold. Quite easy, anybody can do it. In the mines, Jubei realizes that the warrior woman is always one step ahead, so she is already entered the caves and is attacked by monsters. Jubei is ready to move the mountains to get to her orbs, I mean the orb. There are monsters inside and miners who suffer from them. On his way through the caves, Jubei periodically gets the help of Magaichi and Eke, until he finds a miner whose daughter has been stolen by monsters. Eke is going nuts about the idea of saving the lady and then marrying her. The miner of course agrees. The only creature Jubei finds deeper in the caves is demon Gingamfats, crab-like Jeepers Creepers with a pickaxe, who believes he is immortal. With the help of Magaichi, Jubei proves him wrong. After that, he finds another exhausted worker, who claims he saw the woman with the orb. The miner asks for help to save him from the caves, and Jubei cannot decline it. He provides him with food, so the miner gives a demon donut that opens the hole into the demon world, where the female warrior stepped into. Later in the village, Jubei faces another key character, Katara Fuma, a ninja. He advises being careful about the woman warrior, as she is working for Nobunaga Oda. Jubei goes back to the mines to use the demon key. Jumping in the portal, running through the hordes of demons, he finally ends up being at Gifu Castle from the first game, where the Saito clan used to live. Eventually every corner of this place was infested by all types of demons, so this is the best place to be now. At the entrance to the keep, Magaichi stops Jubei to explain the strange behavior of Eke. He used to serve a feudal lord and have a family who he eventually lost. Despite that incident, he still holds onto his dream to become a feudal lord himself, with a beautiful wife and children. So, Jubei says,
Yeah.
Inside the keep, Jūbei Yagyū, aka Ankokuji, and Tamagotchi Sega hear a crying baby who is found to be a stolen daughter of the miner. Eke loses his mind being foolishly faked out, as it's impossible he marries such a young creature, while she is crying in the background. Hearing that, Eke can't help getting his memories back when his family burned down in the castle he used to guard. He pulls himself together, shutting out his bad visions, and gives back the saved baby. The side quest is completed and Jubei, receiving nothing, goes through the demon door which once was opened by Samanosuke. Inside he hears an already familiar voice for us, the voice of Takichira Kinoshita. He is still alive and probably one of the not many military officials in Nobunaga's army who is still a human. He is speaking with the female lady Jubei is after. Takichira is surprised at Jubei's healthy look, as it must be quite opposite. He must be dead. Takichira summons demons to take warriors down, but Jubei quickly changes their plans, saving the lady, who escapes in another direction. He doesn't go after her because, to be honest, I forgot about it, so he goes deeper to the caves in the Gogadante's clutches, the greatest swordsman of all demons. And he truly is. It's out of the question to let his guard down. Hence, Jubei has no other way out but eventually to die. Before Jubei's attacks are blocked till shameful death, the female warrior puts down a rope ladder to pay the debt and save the samurai. Gogan Dantes is telling off Jubei, as a real fighter is never running away from the battle. Moreover, is saved by the woman. Fleeing from the deadly duel, they come up to the surface, where they find a metal sphere with a hole for the orb, which means it's a technology of the Oni clan, as only they had such an advanced technology activated by the orbs. Jubei asks to put off the orb from the woman's neck. In his hands, it starts glowing, meaning the secret technology can be activated. It turns out to be a mechanical horse. He killed 3 birds with 1 stone, got the Oni orb, the lady, and the Oni horse. He is legitimately out of the Old Spice commercials league. Back in Onimusha village, they have a minute to get to know each other. Finally, I can stop calling this lady a lady warrior and move on to Oyu from Adani Castle. The same castle Takichira talked about that soon will fall under Nobunaga Oda. Oyu, as well as Jubei, went to this village for revenge to attack Gifu Castle and kill Nobunaga as he ambushed her relative Asai, but she was caught. Jubei asks where did she get that orb. She says it was inherited in her family over generations. But he saved her and deserves to keep it. Under the pressure of feelings, she loses it and nearly hugs her savior. But as Jubei has a spectrum of feelings of a stone, she turns around feeling sorry and is off to the closest inn. After the awkward scene, I have some saved gold to buy gifts for every important character, and I spend a little time blowing all my money I have so Eke can scold me, because as you see he doesn't like some stuff. Every one of these 4 guys has something they like, and for example, Oyu won't appreciate presents supposed for Eke, and it works both ways. So I splurged all my gold I had to please these guys, and of course I mostly invested in Oyu to become very good friends. Sadly I wasn't generous enough, that's why I lost some opportunities to receive their help and learn bits of their personal story. But don't worry, the game has only one storyline and ending, so you and I don't lose much. During my Santa Claus side job, Katara hinted once again that Oyu is not who she's claiming to be. Yeah, she saved Jubei's life. Also, have you seen her magnificent robust armor? Whatever, she's a good person. Later, Magaichi says there is a woman waiting for Jubei in the marketplace. This woman is a demon called Jujudorma, and I must say that's not what I expected. Her armor is flabby. Her inner mission is to destroy all enemies of her lover Nobunaga Oda. Otherwise, who else is he wearing makeup for? Therefore, Jubei and Takaja in Yagyu village are the first people to kill. Jubei responds, "Damn, well that's something." Jubei arrives in Yagyu village too late to show demons around some Japanese hospitality, so he rushes off to Takaja place. Katara and OU want to help to stop the demon invasion, and I hope it's not because I gave them gifts, because you know it was a sign of friendship. When Jubei arrives at the place, Jujudorma is already there. She wounds Takaja to death and walks away laughing. Before Takaja's very death, she revealed the truth behind her relationship with Jubei's father. Back in days when grass was greener, the world was pixelized, and without demons, Jubei's father was training in the forest when he heard the laughter of Takaja. It was love at first sight. They immediately kissed and started to make a baby. But it's another story for... OU comes to this place and tries to help Takaja, but she is already dead. Jubei, with no remorse, repeats her words that it's the Yagyu clan's mission to destroy all demons when they rise up to the surface. For making it possible, the Oni member found a man of the Yagyu clan to have a baby of Oni origin. So it was Jubei's mission to eliminate the demon's invasion long before his birth. It was necessary because a long time ago the Oni clan had a war against demons and they lost. To survive, they scattered around and needed to elongate their race one way or another. Jubei feels the responsibility to complete the mission and goes out of the Yagyu village. Near the entrance, OU questions Jubei about how he feels about his Oni mother. He claims that now, after knowing who she was, he was never alone in fact. OU asks another question.
But what if they weren't related by blood? Would they still truly feel like mother and child?
What?
Nothing.
Jubei is sure Jujudorma couldn't go far off, so he opens a secret passage and follows her every step. He arrives in the fog forest, which represents a maze. Eventually he loses the way. Since now, for some time, I can play for Kotaro, as he had been given enough gifts to come and save the day. Now I have an itchy feeling inside that I had been given bribes. Kotaro finds Jubei in the forest and explains that for ninjas, it's a piece of cake to find the way out of such an easy maze. On the way through Silent Hill, Jubei bumps into Jujudorma once again. She is willing to fight, so do I. So does Gingham Fats. Indeed, you are immortal. I don't mind killing you both at once, and then again, if it's needed, and again. And again, thanks to OU, she comes to help. The spider demon dies again, but promises to return. Man, you will make me rich. Later in the fog alley, OU and Jubei have a conversation, and she suggests sharpening their skills and having a training battle with wooden swords. By doing so, they will improve their parrying and blocking. To be honest, there is no way to improve anything. Yet, I accept this amusement, as for me, it looks romantic. Eventually, they find the entrance to Jujudorma's accommodation. This part you have to see yourself.
How lovely I am! Are you ready for me?
No, 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 no!
After all, the only Japanese stick she deserves is a samurai sword. She drops the third orb and opens the way to her forgotten Oni technology. Something like a mechanical marlin that can bring Jubei to the Oni island, where once the Oni clan flourished. And according to the letters, only with this technology you can reach the island. However, Jubei won't be alone for long, as this place is captured by demons, and now it belongs to Gogan Dantes, who is arriving a moment later to greet Jubei. He challenged the samurai to fight, and I have no choice but accept it. It lasts for some time, proving once again Gogan Dantes is skillful sword master. I fight to no avail until later OU appears from nowhere, and like an angel saves Jubei from certain death. Even though he's a demon, he pays respect to OU and leaves Jubei at peace. Like it or not, at some point you start to admire Gogan Dantes for his honorable behavior. He jumps back to his water chopper, but before he leaves, he says that Nobunaga is going to attack Adani Castle, the home of OU. He waves off and disappears on the horizon. As Jubei is severely injured, he needs some time to restore his health. That's why OU enters the Oni Castle alone to investigate what's hidden inside. She finds the monument to Takaja, and her spirit arises to help OU. She explains that Gogan Dantes has a magical protective shield. That's why it's impossible to penetrate his protection. To disperse it, Jubei needs the sacred flute that will dismiss his shield. Nonetheless, it doesn't mean the fight will be easy. OU completes her quest and hands over the flute to Jubei, strengthening their relationship. Later, she returns to the castle where Katara ambushes her in attempt to call the bluff of her. He believes she works for Nobunaga and insists to stay away from Jubei. Given no chance to explain herself, he makes her leave. While Jubei keeps finding notes of Guildenstern, who writes about a golden evil statue that he has created according to Nobunaga's plan, he shows so much admiration for his lord that it makes me wonder if Nobunaga is so sinister as they describe him. A few hours later, I get a positive answer. He kills children, women, monks, literally anybody just to show power and conquer territories. By the way, it was true in real history as well. At least now it gets clear why they needed gold from Onimusha mines to create such a weapon as this. Monument and a weapon at the same time. Even though Jubei decided to find some peace and fill the gap of knowledge by reading books, Katarafuma cannot stop chasing Oyu, playing cat and mouse. He doesn't give up on an idea to provide security to Jubei by eliminating Oyu. At some point she cannot stand it anymore, so she honestly agrees to step back and return to Adani Castle. The reason of that is her 3 daughters she must look after. She also questions Katara, does he really think that his mother abandoned him? Maybe she had a reason? Moments of revelations are going to wait, as Jubei had found another note, from which he learns about portals Kinoshita uses to travel around Japan. So Jubei uses one of these opportunities to get back to Gifu Castle. On the way to the next key cutscene, he meets Oyu, who is fighting with demons. Being critically hit, she falls on the ground, while Jubei is doing all the dirty work. When the place is clean and tidy, he comes back to check if everything is alright. She is sure she's fine, and holding his hand they are looking at one another, making everything clear without words, and directing Jubei's health and mana full again. Later in the palace, Jubei finds 2 petrified men. He cannot squeeze to them or, just push them aside, so he needs to find something to get rid of them. The hammerite found before doesn't help. Jubei needs treatment to cure them of their petrification. To find it, he enters another portal, here, leading to the caves, here, and collects the cure against the so-called petrification bullet, created by Guildenstern, here. Getting back to the castle, he revives those guys and comes inside. There is another portal placed by Takichira. It leads Jubei back to the Oni Island, but to the warehouse, which was closed from inside, and there he finds a scarlet key to this door, which opens a key cutscene. Takichira troubles Oyu again, saying that their lord has an order for them. Jubei comes right at the time of their fight and pushes Kinoshita away, so hard that he hits his back.
My back!
He doesn't like the way Jubei treats him and presses the button, which sends them to the pit trap. I wonder why Jubei doesn't try to kill Kinoshita in the first place. Early Capcom script is as incomprehensible as to why they put these subtitles in TV shows. Let's get back to the story. Finally, Jubei and Oyu have an eternity to share all their worries and secrets. Turns out, Oyu is not her real name, but Oichi. I feel like the female warrior was the best name for her. At least you don't need to be confused about what her real name is. Anyway, what's more, she is a sister of Nobunaga. Also, she is a wife of the Lord of Adani Castle, Asai, who is going to be under attack by Nobunaga's demon soon. The other day, after the marriage, she learned that her husband had already had 3 daughters before Oyu married him. She felt betrayed because of that. She wanted to leave, but learned that Nobunaga went against Asai, his relative. So she traveled to Gifu Castle to kill her brother herself and protect her new family. Then she met Jubei and fell in love. His relations with Takajira opened the female warrior's eyes that she is a mother to her daughters, no matter what blood it is. That's why she asked Jubei the weird question. Also, she understood what a terrible mistake she made after speaking with Kotaro. They tried to kiss after such a touchable moment, but Kinoshita again ruins everything as he started the process of launching the secret Oni weapon, Oni Genbu. It comes with fireworks, but inside the island, which makes the hole in the trap. On their way out, the floor under them explodes and Oyu falls in the gap, making it one more way for gentle demon Gogandantes. Show off generosity. Female warrior is surprised, I am surprised, Jubei is dead inside, Gogandantes is surprised too. I don't even want to fight him anymore, but I have to because Capcom wants to see bloodshed. So I play the flute to dismiss his protective barrier. If you think it makes everything easier, you are goddamn wrong. His skill is unbelievable. It makes me feel like Dante's enemy from the DMC franchise. When being the first second in the fight, I find 10 bullets in my butt and my head attached to the wall, looking at Woki Pizza Man doing his wamba combo. Sick, man. After selling my soul soul to Satan, I win the battle and Jubei holds dying Gogan Dantes in his hands. He is proud of Jubei's hard work and asks to repeat his name. After that, he peacefully dies and gives away the orb. Rest in peace, oddly resembling to Dante Warrior. As I have no way to go, there is a statue with a hole in it where I can place the orb. Unintentionally, I start the last stage of activating Oni Genbo. As you see, it's a flying ship with advanced weapons on it, which is heading to Adani Castle. And Kinoshita thanks me for that. Yes, I'm responsible for that female warrior. Thank me later. It feels like that's the end, but there is a passage to another Oni technology, the Oni hand glider. With it, they catch up with Oni Genbo and jump on it. Ouyu loses her footing, but Jubei catches her. There, Takichira is flexing in his new car, given him by his sugar daddy. Jubei wants it too, so he hijacks it, killing Takichira's demon gang. Then, Jubei is chasing Kinoshita and brings him to a dead end. Takichira is trying to fight back, but after all, he is weaker and a pussy, so he jumps out of the device and, using his wingsuit, flies in an unknown direction. They control this flying tank to shoot the demon army and save Adani Castle. After protecting female warrior's home, something explodes inside the engine, and they lose control of the ship. They are flying straight into Gifu Castle, but they manage to retarget it. Yet it hits the building and starts falling. Jubei jumps to the castle, but Ouyu loses her balance and cannot make it, falling down the burning technology. Jubei doesn't seem to care and goes further to the top, where Nobunaga reigns from. In one of the rooms, AK stands on Jubei's way, saying that he serves Nobunaga now, because he promised to make AK a feudal lord if he brings Jubei's head. He cannot stand back and challenge his friend to fight. During this fight, I can use only a non-magical sword, maybe as a sign of respect, but turns out AK is not as great as people tend to think, so I blow a fatal strike quite fast. Unfortunately, I didn't please him enough, and his affinity was quite low. Therefore, I had a bad ending about him. He dies on the hands of Jubei with a smile on his face, happy about spending the rest of his life for booze and girls. But in a good ending, he says that he has found a feudal lord to fight with for his title, and goes away. Now Jubei can finally revenge for his village, killing Nobunaga. Inside the living tower, he needs the last orb to activate the lift to the Demon Lord mansion. Guess who is keeping the last orb? You are probably right because I don't hear you, Gingham Fats. He evolved to the level that he can separate his body from the legs and attack by all parts simultaneously. To be honest, 2 parts, 4 or 6, it doesn't matter. I've found Excalibur before, so at this point nothing is a threat. But if I had been a good friend in the minion of Capcom and given enough gifts to Magaichi, he would have come with BFG and erased Gingham Fats from the existence. It looks awkward though. As soon as Jubei comes to the elevator, he hears light steps behind. It's Ouyu who survived after the fall.
Nanomachine, son!
They're so happy to see each other that the world goes to slow motion. Ouyu wants to help her lover, yet Jubei understands that then she will stand up against her brother, which is okay only for Nobunaga, otherwise it's a shame. Jubei pushes her away and goes to the elevator. She cannot leave him like that without saying a word, as they have been through many battles. She tries to open up her feelings, but stops at the last moment, and Jubei wishes to find her happiness and steps inside the lift. You know, it's weird, he cares more about enemies than about his friends. For example, Gogan Dantes or AK. Ouyu cannot hold her emotions and falls to the ground crying. It was a bad ending with Ouyu. But there is another one. Ouyu would appear in the fight with Gigafats to help. By doing so, she would be knocked out by the demon crab out of the tower. She would hold on the edge, waiting until Katara Fuma comes to help her, grabbing her hand and pulling back to the tower. As soon as he does it, mutated Jeepers Creepers attacks Fuma from behind, gravely wounding him. Dying, he admits that in reality his mother didn't leave him, but she didn't want him to be a ninja. She tried to escape with him from the Fuma village and was killed for it. But he was so lonely that started to blame her. His last wish to Ouyu is to go back to her daughters and take care of them, otherwise they would be lonely forever. After that, Jubei goes to the elevator and Ouyu kisses him. They feel like in space being the happiest people alive, even for a second. Then they say goodbye forever, leaving Ouyu crying in silence anyway. When Jubei gets into the Nobunaga's place, the demon lord is sure Jubei is not worthy to kill him.
You picked the wrong house, fool!
But just in case transforms into the winged demon. He uses all elements against Jubei, but I use easy difficulty. As you see, my tactic is better. Nobunaga is not going to give up so easily, and he uses the ace in the hole, the golden evil statue. Look at this yourself.
You will die!
Jubei wins at roulette a ticket to the Berserk Hell, where Nobunaga controls the golden mecha, and Jubei uses the orbs to enter the final form.
Heavy machine gun!
How interesting. Just look at that.
Repeated 30 times in a row and Nobunaga is done. His spirit goes outside the statue and hits Jubei. In the final scene, he runs away from the collapsing Gifu castle until the screen goes black. If you didn't understand what happened, there is a theory I'd like to share. Nobunaga put all his and Guildenstern's effort to create this statue and control all of Japan. And yeah, this huge golden mecha strikes terror into an observer, but probably that's the point. This is a mind-controlling tool. By the way, the weapon that shoots faces, don't you find it weird? Maybe. It puts on a mask on a person and controls his mind, making him a different personality, controlled by Nobunaga. Also look at Jubei, who is sucking down the living floor, and the camera goes straight into his eye, and then it goes out of the black sun. This might be a transition into Jubei's mind, where he must fight over his volition, with such an unbelievable power for a puny mortal, but not for Jubei. Even though he is a sociopath psycho, yet he is a descendant of the Oni clan, having the power of the orbs, which he has to embrace. The point is that the orbs have names like charity, strength, respect, honesty, faith, but why do they have them? What if those orbs stand for guidelines, not only for the Oni people, but for humans too? Be respectful, honest, always have faith, and so on. Therefore, Jubei embraced those values throughout his journey and found the real strength inside. Like Po from Kung Fu Panda, who realized that the real strength is not in the scroll, but inside him. So being Oni and having a strong spirit, he could fight the machine from inside. The fact remains, when the statue is destroyed, Nobunaga's spirit goes away, stating he is not finished yet. After the titles, there is the next ending, where Jubei rides to Adani Castle and sees Oyu in a beautiful dress. They look at each other, grieving because they cannot be together. They are not free birds, willing to fly anywhere their hearts wish. And then there is a black crow that laughs like Nobunaga, pointing again his spirit is alive. Indeed, he is alive. Watch my next video about Onimusha 3 and everything will make sense. Right now, I cannot spoil anything. What do you think about the theory, and did you like the video? If yes, give a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, have a nice day and see you next time.